Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and today I'm here with my friend Gian Miller right here.
Yeah.
And today we just got out of seeing the new Disney movie to one of my all-time favorite movies, and it's the sequel to one of my favorite movies of all time. We just got out of seeing Zootopia 2. What you think, Gian?
I thought it was pretty good, better than the first one, and I would give it a 5 out of 5 for all the production work they did on it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gian. This movie was awesome, and I think this movie takes the cake for being like my all-time favorite animated film of the year. Now I got two favorite animated films of the year: Zootopia 2 and Fixed. And by the way, guys, this movie, Zootopia 2, this was so much better than Bad Guys 2. And even though I thought Bad Guys 2 was awesome, but this movie was even better. Yeah, and for the first time since Encanto, we finally got a great Disney animated feature film since Encanto, also directed by Byron Howard. So, I'm glad they didn't screw up the climax. No spoilers, of course. I'm not gonna spoil anything. And yeah, this movie was awesome, and also one of my all-time favorite movies of the year. And I'm glad it did not disappoint. So. And also, before we go on with the review, me and GM would like to give a special thanks shout out to our best friend Justin M. If you're watching this review, and also stay tuned for the end of the review for a special surprise. So, yeah, yep. So, I'm glad this movie worked out, and. Yeah, so and of course if you're not subscribed yet, make sure to smash that like button. Hit that notification bell for more. Like, comment, and subscribe so you can see more content from me, Mr. A. Crizzy, every week. Alright, and so with that being said, on with the review. Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in tonight's movie review, I'm going to be doing a movie review on the new Disney movie, which technically I actually just saw today as a Tuesday early access preview screening, kind of similar to Thursday preview screenings. So I actually went and saw this movie with my friend Gian Miller earlier today, and it's also the sequel to one of my all-time favorite movies, and this review is going to be on Zootopia 2. Yep. Here are my tickets to the movie Zootopia 2 that I went and saw with my friend Gian Miller today. Yeah. And now I finally get to talk about Zootopia 2. The long-awaited sequel to like one of Disney's best films to come out in 2016, as well as my second favorite movie of all time. And yeah, we've waited 9 years for Disney to make a real sequel to Zootopia. And now it's finally here, and of course we all feel like Frozone, like Lucius, who's like the super suit scene from The Incredibles. That's how we basically felt. That's how we basically felt when we were waiting for Disney to make a real sequel to Zootopia, and now it's finally here. And after seeing the movie today, I finally get to talk about Zootopia 2. Yeah, and also while I'm doing this review, I think I have so much to say for this review, but don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna spoil a thing. And so, yeah. So in this movie, Zootopia 2 continues where the first movie left off. After Judy Hobson, Nick Wilde, after they stopped Bellwether from this Night Howler case from the first movie, and so in this movie, Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps are now detectives in this film. And together they find themselves on the twisting and trail of a mysterious reptile, which is known as a snake. And of course they discover this blue snake named Gary, played by Ke Kwan. And then of course a mysterious reptile who turns the mammal metropolis of Zootopia upside down. And testing their growing partnership like never before, they go undercover in new parts of town to crack the case. And so together, Nick and Judy have to do whatever they can to try and solve this case. And yeah, and of course they team up with a beaver named Nibbles, as well as Gary the snake, obviously. But yeah, that's all I can tell you guys about the main story of this film, because I really don't want to spoil anything in terms of the climax and the ending. But don't worry, guys. I'm not going to spoil the climax and ending. And, that's okay with me because, yeah, I'll get to that in a few minutes. So, like I said, guys, I've always wanted a sequel to Zootopia ever since like 9 years ago, back in 2016, after the first one came out. I remember saying like I've always wanted a sequel to Zootopia, and yeah, it's finally here. Yeah, and of course, and you guys pretty much already know my thoughts on the first Zootopia. The first Zootopia is one of my all-time favorite movies, as well as my second favorite film of all time. And I'm not going to be talking about my overly obsession with Zootopia back in 2018 or 5 years ago in 2020, because I really don't want to talk about that, because we're all pretty much over that at this point. So I'm not going to go into full drama on this review. So yeah, but yeah, so even last year and just recently, I revisited Zootopia. I just rewatched it like 2 times. So like last year I revisited back in like May of 2024. Last year I rewatched it, and then obviously recently I actually rewatched the first one. Recently, I actually revisited the first one, and yeah, it still holds up as one of Disney's best films of recent years. And yeah, and of course, I just saw the sequel, and yeah, for what it is, I gotta say, this was actually a really great sequel. This was actually amazing and awesome. Yeah, Zootopia 2 was the best. It was it's actually my new favorite animated film of 2025 this year. That other film, Fixed is now my second favorite animated film of the year. Now Zootopia 2 takes the cake, because I absolutely loved everything about this movie, because this movie was awesome, amazing, and even the story itself actually worked out pretty well. I think the story itself worked as well, and I really enjoyed the chemistry between Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps. And of course, I know fans have been saying about this whole Wilde Hopps couple trend, but I only treat Wilde Hopps as almost like friends in partnership, because I know DreamWorks Animation kind of already did that with Wolf and Diane Foxington, but yeah, but I'm not here to talk about that. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed the chemistry between Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps, and and of course I think their chemistry worked well together. Maybe their chemistry here actually worked out very, very even better than the first one. I think their chemistry in this film actually worked. It actually worked even better than in the first movie. And I actually really like their new costume designs, their new outfit designs, because in the first movie Nick Wilde wore a green Hawaiian shirt, while in the sequel he wore a pink Hawaiian shirt. Like in the first movie it was green, but in the second movie it was pink. And yeah, and of course just like we saw in the trailer, where Nick and Judy are at this gala, and this gala thing, the centennial thing, and it's and they dress up in a tuxedo and a yellow dress, because I feel like Judy Hopps in a yellow dress is kind of almost like an inspiration to Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And of course, I actually revisited the 2016 film La La Land, because that's what it reminded people of, like Nick Wilde in a tuxedo and Judy Hopps in a yellow dress, because when I first saw that first look on social media platforms, it reminded some people of La La Land with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and that's why I also rewatched La La Land as well. But yeah, so besides the chemistry between Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps, I did enjoy the new characters as well, and I gotta say, the Linksleys were actually very, very well made characters, and yeah, and I thought that they were, and I thought their character development was actually worked very well. Yeah, it's the Linksleys I thought were pretty enjoyable, and one of the best things about this film. But of course, one of the other best things about this film is Ke Huy Quan as Gary the Snake. Yeah, Ke Huy Quan was definitely the best part about this movie. He does a great job playing Gary the Snake. And this movie definitely made up for Ke Huy Quan's earlier film that came out in February earlier this year, Love Hurts. I mean, Love Hurts I thought was okay, but I don't know, I just think it's not really that good, but it's just okay. But I gotta say, Ke Huy Quan does a great job playing Gary in this film, like Gary the Snake. He was one of the best things about this film. And Yeah, and even Shakira's new song Zoo, I actually really enjoyed. It's just as great as Try Everything from the first movie. And yeah, and of course me and Gian actually we loved everything about this movie. Yeah, we both rated the same rating, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. And I gotta say, the writing too for this movie was actually very spot on. While it may not be as fresh as the first one, I will give credit to the climax and ending. I really do give credit to the climax to this movie. And again, no spoilers. I just think the climax to this movie was actually done way better than what happened towards the end of the Bad Guys 2. Because I'm sure some of you guys out there have already seen Bad Guys 2, but it's just I just feel like the climax to this movie it was actually done way better than what happened towards the end of the Bad Guys 2. Yeah, which is why I gave Bad Guys 2 4.5 out of 5. But yeah, so I really thank Disney for not screwing up the climax and not making it like a copycat of Bad Guys 2, and I really thank Disney for that, and whoever came up with the idea of putting these lines of dialogue and sound effects and Michael Giacchino's score into this climax and how it's played out, you really need to give that guy a raise. Yeah, because yeah, and that's what makes this movie and that's what makes this movie my new favorite animated film of the year. And yeah, it's actually well made. And I gotta say, the voice acting too is also really good too. Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman are both awesome in this film together. And of course, we got Ke Huy Quan as Gary, like I said. And Patrick Warburton was also in the film too. He plays the new mayor of Zootopia, who's basically a horse, like Mayor Winddancer. And Patrick Warburton was actually pretty good in the film. And Andy Samberg was also in the film too. I thought surprisingly, Andy Samberg was actually awesome as Paulbert, like Paulbert Linksley, like one of the Linksley family members. Like, yeah, like I gotta say, Andy Samberg actually did very awesome as Paulbert Linksley. And Paulbert Linksley was actually turned out to be a really good, well-developed character in this film. And yeah, and of course, I'm not going to spoil what happens to him, but I really liked it. And yeah, and I got to say, because Andy Samberg, he does a great job playing Paulbert in this film. And I'm glad this movie did not disappoint. Because I think this is actually like the first it kind of feels like me talking positive on the film. It's like Zootopia 2 is basically like we finally got ourselves a new great Disney movie that of the decade since Encanto, because Encanto was the last really good Disney film until like because in the past Disney has made some hit or misses, even though I didn't really mind them, like Strange World, Wish, Moana 2. But but speaking of Moana 2, this movie Zootopia 2 is definitely an improvement over last year's Moana 2. Yeah, because this movie was so much better than Moana 2, even better than the first, in my opinion, even better than the first Zootopia, and of course, definitely so much better than Bad Guys 2, because I prefer this over Bad Guys 2. Even though, like I said, I thought Bad Guys 2 was awesome, but I gotta say, this movie was so much better, even better. Yeah, because I enjoyed the new characters. Byron Howard and Jared Bush actually do a great job directing this film, and I'm glad Byron Howard came back to direct this film. And Michael Giacchino's music score. Michael Giacchino's music score was awesome, because Michael Giacchino, you guys know Michael Giacchino is one of my all-time favorite score composers. And yeah. And of course, this movie is also filled with Easter eggs and a lot of voice actor cameos, which I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil the voice actor cameos or the Easter eggs, but all I can say is this movie. All I can say is this movie kind of almost felt like a tribute to Disney's 100th anniversary, even though they kind of did it with Wish. But I gotta say, this movie would have been the true way to celebrate Disney's 100th anniversary back in 2023. But yeah, but they already did that with Wish and the crossover short film Once Upon a Studio. But yeah, this movie's like full of Easter eggs, like fun Easter eggs, as well as voice actor cameos. Like, yeah, I really like that. And what's also good about this film is that it mainly focuses on the story itself between our main characters, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. I do appreciate the movie for focusing on the story and not just relying too much on the Easter eggs and voice actor cameos, because like I said, I know they did that with Wish, but here they only relied on the story itself and not just the Easter eggs and the references and voice actor cameos. Like, they didn't go overboard on that. So yeah. And of course, the trailers I got before Zootopia 2 in my screening include the Pixar movies Hoppers and Toy Story 5, and I also got the Super Mario Galaxy movie, as well as, yeah, that pointless Moana live-action remake. But yeah, so overall, Zootopia 2 was an awesome, amazing Disney movie, and the first great Disney film we got since Encanto. And yeah. So overall, I'm going to give Zootopia 2 5 out of 5 stars. A perfect 10 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah, and I think this could obviously be this year's Inside Out 2, because Inside Out 2 is really good, and now this movie was really good too. And also make sure, and also before I forget, guys, make sure to stay for the end credits. Make sure to stick around for that after credits scene, and I'm not gonna spoil the after credits scene because I want you guys out there to go see this movie for yourself. And if you enjoyed the first Zootopia, then I recommend checking out this movie. You won't be disappointed, trust me. And there you have it, guys. That's gonna be it for my movie review on Zootopia 2. Hope you guys liked it, and with that being said, thanks for watching as always, and if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And also make sure to like this video as well. With that being said, until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye everybody, and that's about it. And I hope you guys out there have a good Thanksgiving. Alright, catch you later.
Hi guys, it's Justin. Thanks for watching this movie review. If you enjoyed it, please remember to smash that like button down below. Let's see if this video can reach 1,000 likes or more. Comment down below if you feel like it. And don't forget to smash the subscribe button and to turn on your notifications so you can see more content from Mr. A. Crizzy every week. This is Justin saying, see you next time. Peace!